Alright, welcome back. This is MDawg. I wanted to, this can be probably another pretty short video. Try to catch a couple fish, but mostly what I'm doing, or going to do in this video, is focus on something that I'm doing to upgrade the reels we're using. And because of that, we'll probably make an adjustment on the line we're using. First of all, let me just kind of show you the reels that we're upgrading. All three of my reels are in the workshop, and I want to show you that process. They are done being repaired, and so I want to be able to kind of show you the difference here. All right, so a normal Lacerti 2 costs you 100 silver, pretty much, and it is a 3.8. Now, back in the day, there was another version of the Lacerti, a little nicer, but with the upgrade, you can get closer to what the other one, the original Lacerti, used to be like. In fact, on my MDawg account versus this, our Captain Santiago account, I actually have some of those original Lacertis, which we should look at those sometime. That would be fun. Okay, so this is the workshop. So I put them in. It cost about 20 silver a piece. By the way, we're now level 14. I've done a good bit of fishing, by the way. And a lot of it crucian gibble, but also some bleak float fishing at winding, sorry. And so we've been making some good silver, leveling up still. And now I want to pick up these Lacertis from the workshop. So now you see, instead of 3.8, these are 5.4 max drag. So we have added some strength. I think I showed you this in an earlier video, but we basically just upgraded to this Express Fishing EFFB SP Original -12. It cost 18.9 silver to upgrade to that. And that's as high as I would go. I think there's actually a gold option that takes you to 6.5, but like people have pointed out, that may actually be higher. That friction brake might be stronger than the mech of this reel. So you could be running the risk of actually really getting some funky things going on. And since that's gold only, I just would never recommend you do that with these Lacertis. So now if I go back to our Comforts, there's two more things to show you here. So I'm going to just throw these on the ground out here in front of the store, because I believe we are going to put some new line on here. All right. First of all, here is the setup that you're used to seeing, either basic bottom or paternoster. This is how we have had this set up, and we've been fishing for crucian gibbles. Well, now we have the option to go into classic hair rig. At the end of the last video, I said I would show you what this is and the different pieces of equipment. So now we can go up to 5.4, which means we technically could do a little stronger than 4.8 line, and we may want to get a little bit bigger line, because technically at this diameter we could have 168 meters of line. Well, this spool of line is only 120, so we need a bigger spool of line if we want to be able to fully do it. I sent myself a couple things like some blinkers, by the way, so that when we catch a fish and we're fishing a Santiago, we have the option of doing the silent light indicators. We have these 9-kilo lead cores, these nice little 50-gram sinkers. This is all stuff you can buy in the store, by the way. These little 9.2 leaders, and then a large one carp hook. So we are setting this up as if we are going to be fishing for carp, and technically we are. They're just really small carp. All right, now we've got it all set up. So now this rod is set up for carp fishing. The only thing I want to change is the line. We can put the reel back on this one. Everything else is already set up on this one. The reel back on this one. So what we're looking for is 3 spools of line that is around 150 meters or bigger, which I think we may have to go up to 300. I think we still want to do mono, though you could argue do braid. That would give us a lot more line. You get something like this at 5 kilo. That is going, or even like 7.2. We just wouldn't be able to lock it, obviously. Some of you may not know what I'm talking about, and that's okay. You don't really need to. It feels weird to go braid. I'm trying to think where we're going to be fishing with these guys. Do we really need braid? Probably not. So the cheapest mono we could get that would have, well, I guess technically we could do this Siberia, and we probably should. We probably should, and let's give ourselves a little color. So what would it be like if we had 5 kilo line? Let's just look at this one more time and make sure that's what we want to do. Technically, I wouldn't mind going a little stronger than that. So this is the smallest lead core and leader, carp leader you can get. Now, if we could make our own leaders, we might have a few more options. Go down to, I think, 6.8. Which would honestly be perfect. We don't want to do anything over 6 kilo. Notice our rods max out at 6 kilo load capacity. We certainly don't want to do anything. So 5 does make sense. And if it's a little bit stronger and it gives us, we just have to remember we can't ever lock the friction brake. Or if I do, I'm just taking a big chance. Thankfully, none of this we're fishing with is expensive. So if we did accidentally break something, it's not like it's the end of the world. Do we have any lines, though, that give us... Let's look at mono. Like, if we went to this, is there above 5? Yeah, 5.2. 5 or 5.2. Is it worth the extra silver to get that much more out of this gray line? 5.2. What's the diameter? The diameter is 0.21. And here it's 0.22, so it's slightly smaller diameter too. We get a little bit more line on the reel. Ooh, I don't love it, but I don't hate it either. All right, we're gonna do it. 5.2. We want to go gray or white? Let's go gray. All right, now we've got 3 spools of line. We've got a little more. So it goes 226. That is beautiful. At this level with these small lakes that we're on, to have 226 meters of line, it pretty much means that there are not many situations that we could even possibly be spooled. We're going to have plenty of time to adjust. And I know I've shown you this before as well, and it probably is a waste because we're only going to be fishing for a couple minutes here, but I just, especially with these big, trying to catch these bigger crucian gibbles and stuff, I do not want to have the boat in the way. Okay. So we're going to go back down to 8-meter clip. And if you didn't see it already, let's start at like 20. 20 should be fine. We're using homemade strawberry 15, fresh raspberry 16, and old strawberry dip. These are just some of, but not all, of the boilie types that you can use right now to do pretty well on crucian gibbles. Now, I wish, one change I would love to see is that I wish that method rigs, I don't remember what I put that middle friction brake on, so we're going to have to watch that. I wish that method rigs were more like at 50% bottom fishing. You know, instead of snowman, put method there. Unfortunately, method is all the way down here, 90%. Which means that instead of being able to attach ground bait to our carp rigs, we have to either toss it in, which is, I think, totally worth doing, or, I'm going to do 7, by the way, or what the other trick I like to do is sometimes I'll use 2 carp rigs at lower levels like this. And then with my other, what am I trying to say? With my third rod, I'll actually throw a natural bait in so that I can keep the feeder rod on there and use ground bait. So the problem with these carp rigs is you can't attach ground bait. So we have to throw the ground bait in, and then remember to continue to throw it in about once every 18 hours or once a day or whatever, as long as we're fishing there. All right, this one might be a decent size one. Over a kilo at least. Yeah, 1.2 kilo. Two quick fish. Oh yeah, I got a good feeling about this one. Still early, it's only 5:20, but it's at least got some... Oh, it's a tench, of course. That makes sense. 1.1 kilo tench. You know, so far, the quality of fish we're catching is pretty good. 882 gram crucian. Let's think about this for a second. 1.8, 3.5, 1.8. Gibbles are worth more than crucians. So let's just say on average 2 silver a fish. We'll pretend like the tench didn't happen. 2 silver a fish. I might need a calculator here. All right. These strawberry boilies and everything might be out of stock here because so many people are using them. Yeah, they're completely out of stock. All right, I didn't think about that. Let's see. So you can always also use these just as well. So for 25, it costs $12.50. So that's 2 silver per fish. Raspberry will definitely be out of stock, right? Yeah. So what else are you going to do? What are you going to substitute for raspberry? A lot of people are doing corn, but if you don't have pop-up or snowman unlocked yet, that's not an option. So maybe raspberry jam. I haven't tested this, but this is the same price. So that's 4 silver. And then actually you're going to want to do strawberry dip. Strawberry dip will be out of stock here. But let's say it's 40 silver divided by 100. So, I mean, that's nothing. So you're averaging about 4 silver per 4 silver per fish you catch, right? Am I right on this? Man, that is... What do I have this set up? Yeah, that is twice I've seen that particular rig do that, where it... Oh, this is a small one. That is not what you want to see, by the way. 35.9 though. Yeah, so this is showing me that though it is a lot of fun to fish with these boilies, it's fun to catch a higher percentage of trophy crucians and gibbles. You start averaging out how much we're making per catch. We are actually losing silver especially by fishing during the day. I think you actually want to, and imagine, like, you know, normally we're adding PVA. However, I don't know if it's, you know, I haven't tested this enough to see, but if you are adding PVA, and if you're catching, like on my other account, when I've done this, I've gone on streaks where I've caught 2 or 3 trophies in a row. You know, it feels like the percentage of trophies is pretty high. Everything is up big, you know, is bigger size. You would start fishing, almost like bream fishing. You fish all night. You start about now, fish all night, stop at like 9 in the morning. Got a lot of trophies in that batch. And like I've seen some people saying they're making about 300 silver per hour. So they've kind of figured out a system where they're making really good silver. So I think you can come out on top, but without PVA and I just don't know. I don't know that this is actually that much money we're making fishing like this, but it is fun, and you are much more likely to level up bottom fishing, at least for a while, when you're catching these trophies. So I still think it's fun, worthwhile. I just think it's worth setting the expectation. You're probably cutting into your profit margin quite a bit by fishing with boilies, especially if you're not getting a really nice trophy percentage. Oh, that's a pretty good size, 1.677. And you can see even in this small amount of time, because of the size of these fish, how good of size they are, we have been hitting bottom points so much. It's really crazy. Yeah, I like this. By the way, I like this gray line. I think it was worth it in the long run to get a little bit nicer line. Not going to fish too much longer, but I do want to get at least into the evening when a trophy is a little more likely. I don't know if we'll hit one this time, but it's worth giving it a run, I think. Yeah, we're averaging just over 2 silver a catch. Um, One thing I do think that I will do is get some heavier sinkers. I went 50 gram, thinking about the sort of formula that I usually think about when I'm wanting to save room for the weight of PVA, but obviously we don't have PVA anytime soon. So this goes up to 100 gram test. 2.8, let's just say these, so 6, this doesn't weigh anything. I think it's everything under 6.5. It's just over 7. So we ought to be at like 80 grams. 80 to 90 grams on a sinker, I would think. Still give us a little bit of flexibility on boilies, but I'd say 80. Still under the 100 gram test. I think we'd have less of this on this first rod. I've seen a couple times a fish like hit it, pull it down, and then it pops back up, and the fish isn't on there. I feel like that happens more often when you don't have as heavy of a sinker as you might need. I don't know. I could be wrong. Oh man, I've had a lot of fun setting these carp rods up, and we've made so much silver by being very efficient, hitting cafe orders, not overspending on things we didn't need. And carp fishing is my favorite thing, and so I don't really have any regrets. I also think that spots like this will help us level up our bottom fishing more quickly. You know, I basically just want to get to inline, snowman, pop up, and then loop rig. I mean, those are all like significant, and so this puts us on a faster track towards that stuff. So I don't regret it. It's also a little hard to recommend it for this spot now that I'm like doing the math on these catches. Unless we find some formulas, some baits, some like ways to approach it that cuts down on non-trophy percentage. And some of that could be like time of day we focus or whatever, but unless that happens, I don't know, you're just not making any profit doing it. Which, as we've seen, there's so many, I mean, just using bread here is just like such a high percentage of profit. Yeah, you're not going to catch as many trophies, but now if we had been more disciplined and started fishing here later, fished all night and early in the morning, and then you get done and you actually have a pretty good trophy rate, then maybe that changes the tune. But for now, I'm just saying, like, this is fun. I don't regret doing this. It doesn't make sense for making silver, though. Okay. Maybe we should just wrap this one up. This is, we should just like lick our wounds a little bit, and I mean, we've learned how to set up a carp rig. Not learned a whole lot else. I'm trying to be really careful on how aggressively we put our friction brake up. Back to back. Alright, so what did we decide? It's about 4 silver a fish on just our bait. And now we're almost breaking even now. If you look at the cost of those boilies. But again, if we had waited and only fished overnight and early in the morning, the percentage rate of trophies we would have caught, we'd have probably been in the profit area. Can't say that for sure, but much more likely than fishing this long. Anyway, for what it's worth. But that's the crazy thing about this spot, especially with PVA or people that have been patient, found the right boilie combinations. They actually people have been catching trophies off and on all day. It's not just at night. Look at this, guys. I think we just went 3 for 3, right? See, that's like almost 1200 XP. 1, 2, 3. I guess we keep going until we get one that's not a trophy, just in case there's. I mean, we should probably stop, and then you just never know if the next one would be a trophy. All right, 21. Keeping track at home. What is this? Right now, we're basically break even right now. Truthfully. So you just kind of see like the higher percentage of trophies, the more you're able to break even or even even get into the profit margin. We're making enough silver. Maybe I'll actually try it in a future episode if this spot keeps going. I'm not gonna fish much longer right now, but I would be curious to do a solid like 2 hours here and see really what the total value of the net is. Nice fish to Crucian trophy for the next hour. So like that one's only 2.39. That is, we need it to be, so we need it basically gibble close to about a kilo and a half, not kilo and a half, 1.5, yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much break even, and then anything above that is pushing into the profit area. All right, I'm gonna try to, time is it 3:02? I'll try to wait for one or two more fish, and then I've really got to call it. $36.8, folks. Too bad New Year's Fair isn't going on anymore because they sold Pomar raspberry boilies, and those were working really good here too. MDawg does have it on that account. Wow. We're getting a nibble there. And I've really got to stop. Unfortunately, I mean, you know, if I kept going till 8 o'clock, I think there'd be a pretty good chance we would continue to... Oh yeah, we're into the profit now, which is nice. Just not like a ton of profit, but we're into the profit a little bit. We've caught enough trophies for push us over the edge. Man, a gibble trophy in there would really sink it, but yeah, it is what it is. All right, that's enough for now. Oh, let's see how much silver this is. I guess I just looked. I just didn't think about the actual amount. So 105. Did I just lose connection with the server? Okay, we're back up to 852. Yeah, we're starting to like get back to the amount of silver we had before we spent on getting all this set up. All right, that's not a trophy. Nice little crucian though, and it gave us points in bottom fishing again. Okay, thank you all for the support, for watching, and I'll keep fishing. We'll keep seeing how Santiago goes, but thanks as always, Tight Lines. I'll catch you next time.